Hey guys, welcome to General Query. This
Hi.
is Spons. I go by he, him, and his.
Hey guys, this is Zuki, and I go by she, her, and hers. Welcome to another episode of General Query. How the hell are ya? We,
I feel like every episode it's the same answer, but I think it's gotten progressively worse over the past 2 weeks.
yeah, and I also feel like I get more and more aggressive with the how are you. It's funny because I'm the one that edits the audio. Fonzie edits our video. And every time I hear myself just getting more and more aggressive, I don't know what it is that I'm looking for from Fonz in terms of like how things are.
Oh
I just
yeah, the answer won't ever be,
right,
amazing
right,
unless I suddenly win the lottery and get to move to like somewhere peaceful, maybe my own little island somewhere.
right. Xanadu or something. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's fair. But I think we have to shout it out. The Chinese New Year began yesterday. So we're recording this on the 30th of January. The 29th was the beginning of the Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm waiting on my little red envelope full of cash. So if you guys want to send it over, still waiting.
Yep. Same. Same. No, absolutely. So, yes, so it is the year of the snake. And I think it's very symbolic, right? In every way, right? I feel like snakes are some of those animals that are like grossly misunderstood, right? Like snakes, for the most part, want to be left alone. They don't strike unless you know, go
Yeah.
and fuck with them,
I
right?
also, it's funny. Well, actually, it's not funny. It's kind of fucked up. But I've been called Snake a few times.
Oh my God, me too.
So, I mean, I feel like this is going to be my year. Why not?
Thank you.
The US is burning down to shit, but somehow it'll flip at some point.
But it is the year of the snake, and that's
So it'll
all
be
that
my
matters.
year.
Yes. So from what I've read, according to Chinese horoscope and all that fun stuff, is that it means rebirth. It means shedding, very much like a snake sheds
Love
their
that.
skin. It means shedding old stuff that no longer serves you, even
Yeah.
if it's an old version of yourself, and stepping into change and stepping into something new and good. So,
So, what's
yeah.
your Chinese zodiac sign? So, I haven't read mine. I
I'm a
typically do.
monkey.
You're
I'm
a
the sign of
monkey.
the monkey.
What monkey do you know?
No,
What
I
element?
don't.
Okay. So,
No, I just know that I'm the monkey.
I'm a metal horse,
Ooh.
a metal stallion, if you may.
Right.
Um. So yeah, I'm curious to see what that's all about. Maybe, maybe we'll have an episode on that. Who knows?
Maybe we will. That sounds
Yeah.
super fun. Yeah, but I sent Fonzie a bunch of stuff over the past couple of days about it because I just thought it was so lovely, right? So I think that's a positive. If we have any Asian listeners, I know that like the Lunar New Year is a big deal, not just for Chinese folks, but Korean folks, basically folks in the Asian diaspora.
Yeah.
It's very, very, it's a huge deal. Vietnamese folks. So if, you belong to that community, Happy New Year. I think it's freaking sick that it's aligned to the moon. And the biggest deal is it's the first new moon of the year. That's why it's on a certain day. So it aligns literally with the first new moon of the year.
Is it so this year? It was funny because as we were coming into New Year, back on the 31st, my mind was like, this is just another day, and then, not that I've followed the Chinese New Year or anything like that, but my mind was also kind of in sync with like
Yeah,
it's not happening yet.
it's not happening yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was
No.
weird.
So there we go. So we're there, and that's a good
We're
thing.
here now.
We're here now,
So to
and
answer your question, how are we? We're hopeful.
yes. Yes, and I think that's important, right? Like I think so we've seen a lot of like noise on social media about like all the things that are going nuts and like possible, court decisions that may be impacting the queer community and so on and
Mm.
so forth. And we just, again, if you're here and if you're listening to this and if you're watching this and you don't know who we are or you've never heard our material, please know that this is a queer safe space. We do not abide by bigotry, intolerance, dead naming, stupidity, none of it.
Emphasis
So,
on stupidity. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
yeah,
So to reintroduce ourselves, um, I'm a bisexual, currently in a gay relationship. Zuki.
I am a straight cisgender woman in a straight marriage and a vociferous ally to the queer
Yeah,
community.
I think both you and your husband are.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
So this is a queer folks and allied space,
yeah. I
right?
believe you and I have always talked about how you're practically a gay man.
Very much. I think at least one of my past lives I must have been
Right.
because this level of just fuckery doesn't just happen on the one chance first life kind of thing. You know what I mean? This level of neurosis is not just straight. So yes, definitely. So this is a queer folks ally space. So it's very important for us to know, for you guys to know that a lot of the topics that I would say 99% of the topics that we cover here at General Query have a queer lean, and we're always going to include that. We are political people, Fonz and I, so if you don't want to hear random crap about politics, it's probably not the space. But also know that our politics are going to be in line with protecting and fostering the growth of the queer community time and time
And minorities for sure.
and minorities, absolutely. So if you are a person that identifies in a marginalized community, this is your
This is
space.
your space, and you're always welcome. Yes.
And you're always welcome, and we're always going to be talking shit about all those that disagree. So if that's your personality lean,
Welcome.
welcome. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just wanted to make sure that we say that at the top because I know that, again, as we move into the year, I hope that queer folks and marginalized folks are being intentional with how they're interacting with social media and you're finding places where you don't have to prove yourself, where you don't have to convince people that you're
Or
worthy of
hide, where you don't
existing,
have to hide.
where
Yeah.
you don't have to hide.
Which,
Yeah,
quick little caveat, if you may.
please.
Even though there are executive orders out there to erase trans people,
Mhm.
they are still here.
You're still
They didn't
here.
go anywhere. So
They've been
you
here.
guys are welcome too.
They've been here.
Yeah.
They have been here. They've been here since the beginning of time, and they will continue to be here
Yes.
forever. We have had, episodes dedicated to the possibility of, or to the reality of intersex, what they used to call transgender folks, intersex people in several communities across the world, ancient communities, right? So we're not denying existence here. We're not denying
We
cultural
embrace, on
realities.
the other hand.
Correct.
Yeah.
And on a quick caveat, Fonzie, on the talk about executive orders and stuff like that, y'all do your own research. And by that I
Please.
mean
Please do.
get on the internet and read them yourself. It's
Yes.
very easy,
It,
trust me. This administration is not known for their language.
transparency.
Yeah, their transparency or just being able to put together a document. So trust me, if you go and read these executive orders, they're not full of legalese. They're very simple to read. I'm pretty sure they ran them through ChatGPT before they published them on the government website.
Yeah.
So please go and read them yourselves. And that is highly, highly important because there is so much noise, guys. There's so much bullshit that you cannot allow yourselves to get bogged down in it and then start to just consume.
Really easy to get misinformation. Yeah. Very easy, very quickly.
Very, very easy.
On both ends. I know we've primarily, I guess, been Democratic, but do your research on both ends.
Do your research, please.
Just don't believe everything you see. That's all.
Please.
Especially now. Yes. So I saw this thing where apparently AI is creating all these ice pictures. So beware, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
anyway, switching topics. I think this is the first time you and I kind of randomly dress, not accordingly, but matching.
We are matching. We're both
greedy,
black.
and I love it. Just kidding.
We're also, depression.
It feels almost like I'm repeating my outfit from last week, which technically I am not, because half of my dresser is, or half of my closet is all black.
Oh,
right there. And also this is the vibe. I feel like this has become my new identity.
I love it.
Me too.
I love it. I do like this vibe. I do.
Yeah.
It's giving pained artist. Right.
Right.
So
fitting.
So fitting.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm really liking it, especially because there's no effort to it. Like I had to do my hair before. Now I don't have to worry about it. It's great. Just pop this thing on, does the trick, looks good, or so I think.
I think it's all good. Amazing. Yeah.
Also, I like this little puffy thing. There's a lot of hair in there. I could just pull it all the way down, but I don't want to. In the words of Trixie and Kathia, this is our podcast, and we can say whatever we want because it's our podcast, not yours.
Not yours. And if you want to say whatever you want,
we can look however we want.
That's right. If you want your own, you can start your own. Yes. And on that, really quickly, thank you all so much for the support on the reels lately. We really appreciate it. Fonzie has been working his little tushy off as of late. And I just want to make a quick caveat before we jump into today's topic. And I just want to note that one of the reels that you guys loved the most was us discussing how straight men don't wash their ass. And
it's interesting, the amount of feedback.
The feedback has been interesting, and I want to make a couple clarifications. No one here is hating on Musk.
Oh, okay? Yeah, we love that. Yeah.
No, and real quick, we're not talking about Elon, because Elon Musk.
Right, correct.
But we're talking about bodily musk. We're talking about a little bit of the spiciness of the body odor. Listen, Fonz knows this. We've talked about this, I think, sometimes. I love a stinky dude. I do. It's like... Yeah, it's just... It's dirty. It's gross. It's filth. We love it. However, there's a difference between body, like musk, and doo-doo. No doo-doo. Guys, please. Like, what Fonzie and I were talking about was actual literal poo. We can't have that, guys. We, in the year of our Lord, 2025, we can't have doo-doo in the boo-doo. We can't do this, guys.
Yeah.
Your discussion. Right?
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. Right. Just to clarify, just wash your ass.
Just wash your ass.
Water won't do the trick. Literally get it there. Yeah.
If you are coming home from the gym and your lover is there and you just want to get in it, and that's fine. We're
That's
not
hot.
saying
Yeah.
that's
By
hot.
all
That's
means, it's
lovely.
delicious. It smells good.
It
Yeah.
smell and it smells because that's when they smell the most like themselves. So you want to
Yeah,
just be
it's
like all
ripe.
up in it. We love
Right.
it, and we love that for you. What we're saying is you don't have to get listeria from it. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's all. So we appreciate the
For all
support
those
on the
gay men out
reels.
there, you don't need to get a Hershey's bar. No sneakerdoodles coming out. Just wash your ass.
Just wash your ass. I don't know. I legitimately did not expect for this to be a controversial topic.
It was
I
great.
really
I
didn't.
loved the feedback. I
I
loved
love
the
it so much.
interactions. It was fun.
It was the best.
Yeah.
It was the
This
best.
week's topic.
You speaking of controversial topic, which by the way,
Yeah.
this is not but again, now we don't know.
I mean, it is.
It is.
It is
So,
because of how ridiculous it is. That's what
yes.
it is. You know, it's
Yes.
controversial because it's like completely bonkers. Like, what the, you know?
What the So, as I stated last episode, I've become a bit of a trend slut. And so I've told Fonzie, like,
I've
I was
become
like,
a little bit of a slut.
well, that's not recent, y'all.
Potato, potato.
I was gonna say,
That's been a thing, yes.
that's been base
Oh
level.
my God. Speaking of sluts, so I
Yeah.
posted my first picture with a crop top and I really liked it.
Is this on your Instagram?
No, it's on Threads. I think I'm gonna be a slut on Threads.
So Threads is your slut place.
Yeah,
Can you walk me through why Threads is the slut place?
it's like baby steps towards Instagram. Just because I have a lot more like family,
Oh,
like it's more public, if you may,
I
on
see what you're saying.
Instagram. This
Yeah,
is Threads. I only have like
right.
30 followers. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so I can freely post crop tops and thongs on Threads.
Okay. So, question. So you posted crop top content on
Yeah.
Threads, and we love that for you. Like, are you saying like it was just like very well received and you're happy about it? Or like you're just saying, hey,
No, because it's
check
not
me
like
out?
it's not me looking for validation.
Sure.
It's just me being comfortable with myself now enough to
Uh,
start peeling off the
okay.
layers, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you saying, because I know like titties are a big deal for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so is this like crop top first and then we're gonna make our way into like the titty reveal? Is that kind of like the goal or we don't know yet?
Absolutely.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
was, because that's the thing,
The
guys.
goal is so
Yeah.
summer's coming up.
Yes.
And by full intent, I
Mhm.
will probably post a picture in Speedos. Full
Okay.
disclaimer for all of my followers, friends, and family, you're going to see my ass. You're going to see bulge. It's
Sure.
coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
So if you don't want to see it, just unfollow me. That's great. Who cares?
Fine. Yeah.
So it's coming. It's just in the
Yeah.
process of building in this current situation and point right now. You know?
Right. And he's gonna come at you with bulge ass and a full C? Maybe? Maybe. We'll
Maybe.
see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. No,
The crop tops are on their way because I actually really felt comfortable in them now. So I've been kind of, hinting, not hinting, but like I've been wearing them here and there around the house. And it wasn't until I took a picture in that crop top that I was like, holy shit, they're not completely hideous. And that's the shortest one I currently own, which I
Ooh.
won't go any shorter than that. Like, I'm not gonna full on belly. Like, I'm not gonna do that. It's just the little happy trail that I want to tease, you know? Did you know there's a couple different names to it? There's like happy trail, snail trail, the devil's horns, which I currently don't possess, you know? Speechless.
I just I'm okay. All right. Um, I guess I'm okay. No. Listen, yeah, I mean, happy trails are amazing. That's what it's all about. Everyone should get into that and go check out Fawns on Threads, right?
Eh, you don't, it's fine. I'm doing
You
it for
should.
me.
You should. You should. And that's the thing. It's funny that he was like, speaking of sluts, because that's what he thinks is
Slut is.
slut,
Meanwhile,
sluttish. Right. Because, no, that is not slut behavior.
that's true. Not yet. Anyway,
But really quickly, before I jump into me being a trend slut back again, I want to make sure if you're a slut, we love you.
we do.
I
I mean, she's best friends with one of them, so like,
So I can attest for the more for the moral just fortitude of a good slut. Okay? We love sluts here at General Query. When we say we're inclusive, that's what we mean.
yeah, no, we mean we're inclusive, except deaf people. I feel like if we were
Yeah, no,
fully inclusive,
we don't
need
go
to
into
get
crime. We're all about consent here at General
no
Query.
deaf, not dead. Yeah, deaf. Sign language, Suki. Sign language.
Sign language. So sorry. We'll try to put captions on
Not
all of our
corpse.
shit.
Not corpse.
Not he didn't say dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yikes. Okay, so with that, we're gonna move right along
Right.
to our topic. So again, trend slut lately. I came across this trending thing that's also happening on TikTok and honestly Instagram as well. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Of this overconsumption. Now, overconsumption core. Now,
Oh my god, I hate how they put core after it.
core.
It's all
Okay,
these Gen Zers, but anyway.
we want go watch our Gen Z episode. Anyway, um,
Oh yeah. I wonder if all black is like loser core.
it probably is loser core. They think everything we do is loser core. Whatever.
Define we when you say that. Just kidding.
But not me. Not me.
I cannot possibly be loser
Can't
core.
possibly be a loser. No, but really quickly. So basically, what it means is you guys have seen them. You guys, if you're on social media in any form, you've seen them. All these people that have, 20 containers for all
Okay.
their cleaning products.
So you
Yes.
sent two videos,
Yes, I
and
did.
one of them was about overconsumption.
That's right.
And I'm not gonna lie, when they opened that drawer full of ice cube trays,
I
my
knew it.
panties got so wet.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Listen. Okay. So this is why. Please know we haven't talked about this at all. So we don't know where
Right.
either of us stands on this.
That's true. Yeah. So we were about to,
and then we
we were
stopped
kind of
ourselves.
like, please, let's keep it candid here,
Just a little edging.
because it's
For you
General
guys.
Query and we're candid.
Just a little edging for you guys.
Oh God.
Anyway, ooh. I don't know if
Ooh.
that's gonna get. I don't know if that's.
Did
gonna
you
get-
say edgy or edging?
No, edging.
Ooh, love it. Okay, let's keep going.
Anyways, sorry about that. So yes. So what I'm saying is, yes. So in the video that I sent Fonz, there's this clip of a creator showing and I'm not exaggerating, at least 10 different silicone trays of ice.
It was 25.
25.
That creator made the calculation and it was 25.
25.
And here's the
trays
thing.
of ice.
I wasn't upset about the 25 ice cube trays because
Okay.
that would be me. Like, I want to get to that level. Okay. Because, like, if we go to Temu, they're only like a couple dollars, like $2 to $3. Okay. So it's not that bad. However, when you go to your freezer and you have over 200 ice cubes in there and they're all different shapes and sizes and colors. That's when I was like, the am I watching?
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's for me, like that's where, like that's what we're talking about, guys. Like the overconsumption, right? Like and the thing about it is like the point is overconsumption for an aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is to look a certain way, right? Or
Right.
you want things to look a specific way,
I
so
think,
you do all these things. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole premises of overconsumption definitely started with celebrities.
Okay. Walk me through that.
That's
I don't
my
know what you
theory.
mean.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my theory. As far as overconsumption, I think celebrities started this whole idea of overconsumption because look at any celebrity,
Mm.
specifically rappers, they do love that lavish lifestyle. The
Big
Lamborghinis,
a
the
lot of stuff.
diamonds,
Yeah.
the hookers all over the place,
We love a hooker.
the massive mansions, the irrational helicopter, whatever.
Right.
I think that's where it started. Millennial here. We created it. And then influencers kind of took on that same premise of overconsumption and
Yeah.
profited from it. So whereas celebrities kind of like indulge in overconsumption, influencers kind of created a business out of it, which is great.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
then the general public should understand, like the creator said from that video you sent, it is a business. And I think there's where like we have to understand, like for example, me watching that video, like I said, love the idea of having different shapes and sizes and everything for holiday ice cubes or ice cube trays. But like I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy 20 different types of syrups, like 70 different types of creamers just to create a stupid ice cube and have like a candy cane, a gingerbread, a Christmas tree. Like I'm not gonna do that.
No, of
Yeah.
course not. Right. Like, and that's to me, that's the point, right? I think we've gotten to a point in society, and I think this is evidenced by like the amount of like misinformation out there about all kinds of things, is that we like certain things and then we are fed those things, right?
Yeah.
And of course, all guys, because that's the thing. If you see all these videos about, organization core or whatever the all that stuff.
Okay. Please tell me you don't get moist with that.
No, no, it looks beautiful,
Yeah.
but
It's not practical, but it
it's
looks
not
beautiful.
practical. And I think that's what's key, right? Like Fons knows this. I'm a very organized person. I like things in order. I like to be organized. But I'm sorry, my spice drawer, it's a literal drawer, and Fons has seen it in the several iterations of my home. And I have a super size bottle of all the Knorr seasonings, nor beef, nor chicken, nor tomato.
I love how you added Nor and beef together.
Yes,
Anyway,
all of them.
but same. We have the same. Like we have the supersized Sam's version of them.
Yes,
Great.
same.
But I will say this: I will, because eventually my drawer will be very organized and have those little tiny. Like I'm
Sure,
gonna do that,
sure.
but
But
I'm not gonna do that with ketchup, mustard, and mayo.
that's insane. And also, one thing that's important to remember, guys, when you're looking at these videos, a lot of things like ketchup, mayo, all of these things are in these containers, and they are made this way to be shelf stable in these containers. So the minute that you take them out of those containers, their expiration date is no longer the same,
Do
right?
you guys know why every single container has like once you open, you have to refrigerate? Because once air comes in it, bacteria comes in it, then it could accumulate. Therefore, the expiration date, yes, it gives you a general idea, but once you add air into it, then there's, bacteria growing into it. And like, we probably won't post it, but if you've seen those videos where like all these Instagrammers put ketchup, mayo, and everything into these really aesthetically
Milk,
pleasing
milk, actual
milk.
milk.
Yeah. So
That's an
there's
issue,
already
guys.
bacteria growing into all these
You're
things.
yeah, you're introducing bacteria as you're processing all of these things, and for what?
Right. Just to have a clean for yeah.
Clean looking, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. Nothing says that you having an actual milk gallon jug in your fridge is dirty. Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
not it,
Yeah.
right? So it's again all of these things are like we all love to look at beautiful things. Of course we do, right? And
Just
our
look at
home
us.
is and of course our home is one of those things. However, you need to be aware of why you're doing these things, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
What
getting
is the purpose?
all of this? Yeah. And again, like, I love organization and I have like, those like clear organizational trays, all of this stuff for certain things in my bathroom.
I
But
think that's key when what you said is like my organizational. I think people need to understand organization is very personal.
it is. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Organization cannot be learned from a TikToker or a YouTuber or whatever because it's what works for you.
For you.
So this influencer might be like so fucking aesthetic or whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's not practical for you.
Right.
So then you're
Right.
just wasting time doing what? Because it's not gonna be consistent. It's not gonna be livable.
Livable,
Yeah.
guys.
So like your
Yes.
organization, which by the way, she does have a beautiful guest bathroom and it's super organized and it's set up for anyone to stay in her
For my
place.
guests.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You organized it because you were thinking of that guest. And I think
Yes.
that's key because when we go into your bathroom, which I didn't do, I'm sure it's completely different
Yes.
because you and your husband have different,
Rhythms,
routines.
routines,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think like that's what's key. I think Fonz knows this about me. Fonz and I, this is one of our gayest or disagreements. Hear me out. Fonz and I
As
have
you said that, I was ready to fight.
Fonz and I have different ideas of ideal decor.
Oh,
Fonz
yes.
is very much a modernist, right? Fonz enjoys straight lines and clear walls. He does
Yeah.
prefer. And hello. Right. So Fonz knows I am quite the opposite, right? I'm very much, I don't want to say clutter, but fill up the walls, fill up the
Not even
this,
a
fill up the that.
maximalist. I think
No,
my best way to describe your aesthetic is cozy.
cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And
Yeah.
so but that's the thing. We come somewhere in the middle. I think it's important to remember, guys, that your home should be reflective of you.
Your
You
personality.
your
Yeah.
personality. You shouldn't be aspiring to have your home be whatever it is that these influencers are
Trends are.
doing,
Yeah.
right? Or the trends are, because your home needs to work for you. Again, all these amazing organizational 20,000 things, it looks great. But I don't have a kid. But what if you have three, like a toddler and a kid in the third grade or something? You think they're gonna give a shit about your aesthetic organizational stuff? No, I have
Or
friends.
practicality of it. Like that one
Practicality,
video you
yes,
sent me, like this person talked about how what if you have guest over and then you have leftovers? Like if your fridge is like fully aesthetic, there's no way you will have extra space for leftovers.
right.
So
And that's the
then
thing.
now you're, you know, over wasting because then all that food or whatever either has to get sent to other homes or you're tossing it.
Right.
Yeah.
For For what? To maintain an aesthetic? That
Right.
doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
right? So like I understand that there's people that want, their home to look a specific way, but it has to make sense for you.
Yeah.
And again, it's like Fonzie said earlier. I think it's important to remember most of the time when you're seeing these things come through, they're trying to sell you something,
Oh yeah, for sure.
right? There's an affiliate link
Yeah.
or a sponsor or something. So and that's the thing, that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it. Hell, if you want to, do. But do so knowingly. I think
Yes.
that's key for me,
Like
right?
we started when we started this full like whole little segment of overconsumption. Like I loved the idea of having seasonal ice cube trays. Love it. We'll
Right.
probably do it. You
Right.
know, I have a drawer perfect for it, but I'm doing it knowingly, and I know I'm not going to buy 20 different ones for one season. I'm probably going to have one for each season and then one that's a skull because I already have them in the cart. um, but I'm doing it knowingly, and I know it's not going to be an aesthetic thing to the point where like it has to be, a seasonal kind of
Right.
situation and whatever. It's more of a I just want different shapes and sizes for every season or holiday, if you may,
Right.
throughout the year. And I'm just gonna have maybe a total of like 15 trays throughout the entire year that I'll like reuse, for a couple. Yeah. So
Exactly.
and that's
Yes.
another thing. And so makeup is one that we saw there.
Makeup. Yeah, let's talk about
You
that.
don't
Yeah.
need 20 million foundations.
Guys, and that's the thing, like, as someone that wears makeup every day, like, you cannot possibly be storing tens of foundations and expect to use them before they expire. Once again, if this is a PSA, makeup expires, guys. You cannot be putting
And
stuff on your
lotion.
face and lotion and all of this stuff. I mean, Fonzie, in the video that I shared with Fonzie, there's people collecting body scrubs and bath bombs and just, it's gross,
It's a lot.
guys. It's a
I think
lot.
I mean, we'll talk about it later, but without being conscious about it, I think we're in underconsumption or whatever that term is. My boyfriend and I underconsume,
Yeah.
but we'll get into it. But there's no need to have, you know, every single brand of foundation, every single brand of concealer, every single brand of like I have a box full of makeup because at some point my boyfriend and I were trying to not do drag, but we like the idea
Yeah,
of
you were dabbling in it. Yeah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think eventually I'll probably bring the box out again and then see what works and doesn't and then, just play around
She
with it.
looked
But
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's you don't need all that.
No, and so not too long ago, last year, I had to fly home after I'd moved out of Texas, and I flew and stayed with Fonzie and his boyfriend, and my favorite thing is like I'm in there and I'm in their bathroom taking a shower, and I have my stuff, obviously. But because it's me, I'm like looking at their stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I don't know what I saw. What did I see? I saw something lavender related, and I was like, perfect, perfect. I just spritzed myself to that. I was like, great, right? But that's what I mean. Like that was like their curated bathroom cabinet, and I'm in there, and I was like, that looks amazing. Yeah, that's great. I can use that, and I'm going to. Perfect. And I did. And number one, that's the benefit of staying with your friends. Number two, like it was clean, organized, perfect. None of it had this like labels and shit and like specific like containers. Nothing. It was all in the containers that it came in, by the way. And it was amazing. Literally afterwards, I'm out there and I'm out there in a muumuu, okay, with like eye patches under my eyes. So it's just like, what is that? And I'm like, I have a face mask. You should put one on. So we're out there like fucking Thelma and Louise with fucking face masks on our faces in the morning. And again, none of that was aesthetic. None of that was, curated. It was just everyday life. And I
Yeah.
think like
I think that's key for sure.
that's key.
I
Like,
mean, not too long ago, there was a guest here and they walked into our bathroom, and this person was like, do either of you work for, um, what's the brand? Anyway, it was one of the brands for like lotions and stuff. And we were like, no. It didn't dawn on me, but we do have like 5 bottles of the same brand, different lotions for different parts of the body. It didn't, and that, see, that once again is like, I guess you could call it overconsumption, but it really isn't, because we don't buy the same bottle 5 times. It's like
right,
different bottles for different situations. The same with the
right.
ordinary. We have a bunch of ordinary products, but
Yeah.
they're all for different situations and at different times. So like, I, for example, love the under eye coffee.
The caffeine one? Yeah,
Yeah, the
it's great.
caffeine one uh, works wonders for your, bags, designer bags in the mornings. Throw it on there, disappears, great, love it.
Yeah.
He personally likes like a few other, like the retinol. I think it's the ordinary,
Yeah.
hyaluronic acid, all these other stuff that we buy from the same brand,
Yeah.
but they all serve a different purpose. And we don't have a stock of 20 bottles.
And that's what I mean. Like, whenever you see a lot of this, like, organization core or this or that, like, I think it's all about being a conscious consumer, right? Like, and it needs to make sense, right? Like, I live with a person that has ADHD, and it's a lot, especially when you're a type A person like myself. I don't have ADHD. I just have depression. Anyways, but what I'm trying to say is it's difficult, right? Like, I can't go around taking shit out of containers. Are you kidding me? He would have a meltdown. He would be like, "What is this? What does this mean?" I would get worried about expiration dates. Like, you don't need to take your eggs out of their perfectly good container and put them in a different egg container. You don't. And I think this says a lot about the
But
trend.
also, let's talk about this really, really quickly, because like, I don't have 20 dozen eggs in there.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like
Fair.
an 18 cart kind of situation.
Sure, sure, sure,
Once
sure, sure.
they're done, they're done. They typically expire after we finish them. We're not big on eggs,
Egg people.
We'll
Right.
probably, if we make pasta or if we make some
Sure.
sort of bread, or maybe once in a blue moon, like today for lunch, I had, hard boiled egg, soft boiled egg. Um, like, but
Right.
we know it expires after we'll actually
Yes.
finish them.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And
it's that kind of
that's
situation. But
right.
yeah,
And
they're out of
again,
the cart.
come on. Guys, like it's just, and again, you don't need to buy all these things to
Yeah,
all of a sudden feel like you're doing well at life.
yeah,
That's not real.
no,
That's not real. So all of this is massively extreme. We know that. And people take it way too fucking far. But as I pointed out to
on the
Fonz,
flip side,
on the flip side, there's the underconsumption trend. So we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to walk you through the pits and the highs of the underconsumption trend, because there's always two sides to every story. So We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk to you about underconsumption. We'll be right back.
All right, so we are back
We are back. We're refreshed.
with
Took a
the
potty
flip
break.
side to our previous.
To the previous half, yeah. So, like I told Hansi, so where there's overconsumption core, there's underconsumption core. And it's a lot of these folks that are saying, hey, very much along the lines of what we just said in the first half. It's like, you don't need all this stuff. And also, it might be more
Extreme.
responsible to have less.
Okay, I like responsible because what I saw as far as under consumption core was a little extreme.
And that's the thing, I would agree, right? So, like, an underconsumption core, the idea is that the right idea should be that you are not buying things that you don't need. You don't have, let's say, 10 Stanley Cups. You have one, right? Or like a tumbler that you use for water and you have one. And you just have what you need and you use that until it's done, right?
Yeah,
Now, the problem is, and I think like all of that
I think the problem to
is great.
anything is extremes.
Right. Because I saw some people over here being like, I've used one bar of soap all year, or I have one set of sheets for my bed. And I'm like,
Or people that recycle their bath water to wash the dishes
that's unnecessary.
and unsanitary.
That part.
Yeah.
Number
I
one.
think
Like,
there's a fine line between being ridiculous and being conscious about what you spend or what you consume, I guess.
right.
Because, for example, and that's what I wanted to say, like during our previous like little segment. I think my boyfriend and I have always been very conscious of what we consume. So, like, you could say we're under consumers or, ethical consumers, if you may. Because we typically only have like one bottle of what we currently need and use, and then ones that is running out, say we have for a couple weeks, then we replace,
Right.
or we have a backup. Like, for example, now we don't have a Sam's Club close to us, but when we did, typically things come in one or two packs. So, like, you would have a backup,
Right.
which is
Right.
fine.
It's fine.
Alcohol is the one thing that I'm over consuming constantly. Like, there has to be backup 24/7. But aside from that, I think we're very conscious as far as like what we consume and stuff.
I agree.
And I
I
think
agree.
that this is one thing that we didn't see, but I think overconsumption can also come to subscriptions, like Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, et cetera, et cetera,
Ooh,
et cetera, et cetera.
that's
Like,
interesting, Fonzie. I hadn't thought about that.
yeah, you can also
Yeah.
overconsume. Like, for example, currently, and this is something we learned after we moved. I think we only use like 3 apps
Right. Yeah.
that we like really religiously use.
Use.
And then
Yeah.
aside from that, all the other, I was spending like over $300 on stupid subscriptions that I probably only used once or twice a month.
Right.
And so I think that's another thing. But also on the flip side of things, under consumption, like if we're talking about subscriptions, like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could get by with having ads on every single app, but it's a little overwhelming.
It is a little
Yeah.
overwhelming. And I think it's important to remember that there is such a thing as like maintaining some level of comfort, right? And as you know, I would like to introduce this concept, and I'm sure that our listeners aren't completely foreign to the concept, but it's there is such a thing as the impossibility of ethical consumption under a capitalistic system, right? Ethical consumption under the system that we all live in right now is very difficult to achieve, right? So yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can't have ethical consumption in a society that is sort of built around over consuming and buying things you don't need.
And I
But
think also
also,
another thing that plays into it is like
yeah.
the cost of living.
Oh my gosh.
When we
Yes.
when we talk about ethical consumption, unfortunately, the majority of the time is like you won't find things that are ethically sourced locally or nationally. Unfortunately, affordable items come from unethical work environments or
Absolutely.
manufacturers. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's like the perfect illustration funds, right? Is like you can try, right, to be as ethical about it, but it's going to cost you, right? There's like an entry cost into trying to be as ethical about stuff as
Yeah.
possible. And so that in itself makes things much more difficult. And
Yeah.
so
So
I
I would
yeah,
argue also like for example, designer items in some way are ethical in the sense where the materials, the textiles are ethically sourced.
yep,
Why? Because they like that exclusivity, they like that luxury, they like that feel. Also, the
sure,
person making them will more than likely not be underpaid or won't be an Asian child who's chopping their fingers off on a
correct.
sewing machine.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I think when it comes down to designer items, there's like two sides to it because you can have the overconsumers and the underconsumers. And I think if you're a happy medium where like, for example, you buy a pair of really well-made Italian shoes, you know those are going to last you a couple years, so you're buying ethically. Maybe a coat that was worth
Sure.
maybe, yeah, the initial cost was probably, over 2 grand, but materials are ethically sourced, ethically manufactured, but it's going to last you a couple years. You're buying this coat for the next 10 to 12 years. So I think there's that fine line between
I agree.
over consuming, ethically consuming, and under consuming.
Right. And I think like also again, I think that the biggest thing is, and this is what I appreciated about the creators that we saw this topic from, is like also remember all these people that are feeding you this lines that they're just so above it all and they have one pair of everything and or whatever are lying.
Yeah. Just look at their, what is it, Lincoln bios.
Yeah. They're lying.
Yeah.
They have 20, they have several brand deals and they have all of these things. So the people that tell you, oh, I have four makeup products also have a brand deal with, I don't know, Anastasia
That's,
Beverly
yeah.
Hills or like whatever, right? Like it's just not that part about being understanding that a lot of what these high influencers are telling you is a lie.
Yeah.
And these types of like hashtags like underconsumption or whatever get clicks. They get great views because there's a fine line between like underconsumption, and we saw this, and just regular life. Like a lot of
Yeah.
the times like you're seeing these videos and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's how I live," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just real life. But if it's being put through the lens of
An influencer.
an influencer, then all of a sudden it's this
It's a
thing to
trend.
aspire to,
Yeah.
right? And it's a
Yeah.
trend. And it's just you living in Ohio, right? Like, like, oh, I drink coffee at home and I eat lunch at home. And it's like, yeah, well,
That's my day to day.
that's day to day, right? Like
Yeah.
that's most of us, right?
Yeah.
Like we drink coffee at home, we eat lunch at home. And so that's the thing,
I,
guys. Is
I I think
that
the problem with these trends, like over consuming and under consuming, is the fact
yeah.
that the general public isn't capable of distinguishing what is and isn't real.
What do you think that is?
Yeah. Well, it's obviously, trends, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah.
We are so used to now following what is on social media. It's not even the media anymore. It's like social media that is consuming us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so everyone's so used to seeing what's on social media, what's actually trending, that and it's kind of sad, but it's always this mentality of like, I want to fit in. And so that's why we fall into these stupid trends like overconsumption, end up spending more than we can, credit card debt, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Underconsumption, where we fall into the ridiculous of like
Right.
one thing for everything. That is not how we live our lives. That is not, it shouldn't be a trend. It's
No.
just ordinary life. So, like, I think we as a society have to distinguish what is reality and what is a trend. Like, great if it's a trend for influencers who get thousands of dollars from brand deals for them to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to cut back on like what I spend, but know that these people are making money through another, through your clicks and views.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's the most important is if there I struggle to say, oh, it's wrong to want your house to look a certain way. No, it's not necessarily wrong. Like if you want your house to look a certain way, you want to do these things, whatever, that's fine. But like Fonz is saying, be aware and honest about where these things are coming from, right? Because if it's just a trend and it's all of these things, then recalibrate your expectations, right? And recalibrate where you're coming from. Because at the end of the day, these things don't last. They
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Your house hopefully will, and how you interact with your family will, but these trends won't. So, again, I don't know what it is that people want or are looking for, but your life doesn't have to look picture perfect. And I think that's important because, and I want to make this clear, as a person that copes by doing a very good job of convincing people around me that I'm cool and everything's fine, it doesn't last long, guys, right? It doesn't. Yeah. So that's what I mean. I don't know. I think that if I had a theme, okay, hear me out. If I had a theme for how I want 2025 to turn out, is I want all of a sudden for everybody to be very conscious and responsible about the stuff they're consuming on social media. That's it.
I
Period.
like that. Consuming on social media for sure. Because that
Right?
involves politics,
All of it.
consumption, everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think like the biggest
As
thing,
we're talking on a YouTube episode.
we're safe space in social
That's true. You know
media.
what? Not to toot my own horn or anything
Toot
like
toot.
that, but I
Toot
think
toot.
we are like the safest podcast that I've listened to so far. Because there's always this like whole, like, yeah, I mean, we're not getting sponsored by anything, but I think if we ever did, I think you and I are both on the same page as far as like what we will sell in our podcast. Like we're not going to
Highly
sell
vetted.
out to anything.
Highly vetted.
Yeah,
Yes.
even if it is giving us like $30,000, I think we will reject an offer that is against our morals.
And our values.
Yeah,
Yeah. And most importantly, the people that we stand behind, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah,
I think that's important to remember. And I think
that's
it's
for you,
important,
Target. We're not gonna get sponsored by you
dude, Target can suck it,
or
honestly.
Starbucks.
Or Starbucks or any of them, really. I think it's gross. I think it's important
Yeah,
to remember all of that stuff. I don't know. Again, and nobody can tell you these things. You have to go and find them out for yourself, right? Like you have to do these things. And
Yeah, like me,
As
even as a creative, I
yeah,
stopped shopping at Hobby Lobby a long time ago because of what they stand for.
that's right.
Yeah.
And again, about like in this ethical consumption thread, for all of you that don't know or don't understand this, in US law, corporations are viewed as people. So, when it comes to taxation, when it comes to how companies, especially big companies like Hobby Lobby or anything like that, are viewed, the reason why they can deny their employees health care or they can choose to discriminate against who they hire is because in US law, they're seen as people. So please, 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 please understand that corporations are viewed as people in the United States and they are taxed much more leniently than an individual is, but they are seen as people. And so whenever you're like, oh, well, it's just a big company, no, no, they know exactly what they're doing and
Yeah.
they're doing it on
And
purpose.
even though they're considered people and they have zero children, they get bigger tax breaks than people with children do, or single individuals do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things. If you want to have your spice drawer fully labeled, please. But maybe get your glass jars at the thrift store, guys. If you can. I have a whole glassware collection. Thrift store. It's fine. Ran it
Clothing. I
through.
feel a lot of people also thrift clothing. So I follow
Yeah.
this one guy. He loves upcycling. That's a
Yeah.
thing.
Sure.
That's a lot coming from a designer. But um definitely, I don't know. It's more of what kind of value things have behind them and
Sure.
how consciously are we spending our money.
That's it. That's, for me, that's my closing thought. Right there. How are you spending your money?
Yeah.
Right now, the way the world is going, and specifically the way the United States is going, this is not hyperbole. Prepare yourselves in any way that you can. One of those things is how you spend your money. So that's the one thing you have control over. So, like Fonzie
Don't give
said,
in to overconsumption.
don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Also, don't be ridiculous.
And don't be ridiculous.
We all have our needs, etc., etc.
No one's
You
gonna
know,
give you a martyrdom, if
right?
you are
Yeah.
down to
Don't
like
wear
one
your
bar of
pair of
soap.
Asics or Alos for 7 years just because you want to be a minimal, not even a minimalist. Just
Not even.
yeah.
Yeah. No. I think I have loved this quote for a long time, and if I my husband and I take this very much to heart. It's just a simple mantra. Live simply so that others may simply live. That's it.
Love that.
That's it. So, whatever that means for you, so that you
Now,
have.
I don't want people to misunderstand what we're trying to say because, like, we can all give ourselves the luxury of going out to a fancy dinner, you know?
Sure.
Does that mean it has to be every single night? Probably
No.
not.
No.
Do you have to eat out every single night? Do you have to get
No.
even fast food? Do you have to get fast food every single night? Yeah.
No. No.
Maybe as you're scrolling on TikTok, go ahead and learn a recipe or two. It will help your pocket and it will help the environment.
And it will help the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that to me is the biggest thing. Your pocket is the it gets the last bastion of power, right? So choose not to fall prey to these trends. And if you do, make sure you're doing so consciously, right?
Consciously, yes.
Consciously.
Just know you're
Guys,
feeding into a trend. Therefore, it is not consistent. It won't have a lifespan. it is something you'll probably do for a couple weeks. It's like the whole thing that we talked about during like New Year, New Me.
Uh-huh.
Like if you're giving into the whole New Year, New Me situation, by now you're probably done with the gym. So don't do that
So
with consumption either. Be conscious.
please, please, guys. So let us know what you think. Are you an over person? Are you an under person? Are you somewhere in between? I'd love to hear
Yeah.
everyone's
I think
takes
for
on this.
both of us, we are consciously in between.
Consciously in between.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't pry from my dead hands the too many books that I have.
But
Uh,
also, that's not a lifespan, but that's a good couple years worth of books, you know?
at
Once
least.
again, purchasing
Yes.
consciously. Like if you buy
Yes.
2 to 3 books a month, you're
Yes.
not overspending on books.
No.
You know,
Also, go to your
you're
local library. But yes,
buying knowledge
right. So,
or fantasy, because why
ooh,
not?
we love fantasy in this
I
house.
know.
So keep us posted. Let us know. We have loved your feedback on all things, wash your ass or don't.
Keep interacting.
Keep interacting. We love to see it. We're gonna
We
keep
love to
feeding
hear.
it to
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And also, again, remember, it's the year of the snake. So shed all the nasty shit. Shed old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. And keep the stuff that does.
And
Right?
reflect back to our episodes about self discovery and self reflection
Yes.
before you
Please.
shed.
Before you shed, walk through it.
Don't shed the good parts and keep the toxic parts.
Right, guys. Some discernment here is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. And so let us know how you feel. And until next time, this has been General Query.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Bye.